I want to give you guys my 5 best bets for week 12 of the college football season. I'm rolling with Tennessee as a 10-point underdog on the road against Georgia. I don't see how Tennessee doesn't cover this 10-point spread. They are not really that far away from what Georgia is. As a matter of fact, both of these teams are pretty similar. They both have quarterbacks that haven't played good football. Their offensive lines are struggling. They're really dependent on how well they can run the football and how well their defense plays. What gives Tennessee the slight edge in this game is that they got the best defense in college football. You are averaging only 13.5 points per game, which is top 5 in the nation. You got a defense that only allows 4.5 yards per play. Georgia's offense is going to have a hard time moving the football down the field like we saw them struggle to do against Ole Miss, who also has a really good defensive line. And Georgia doesn't have identity on offense. They can't throw the football well because of Carson Beck's turnover issues. Their offensive line doesn't allow them to throw the football downfield, nor does it allow them to run the football. At least Tennessee, they have something they can hang their hat on, which is how good Dylan Sampson has been this year. He has 20 touchdowns, over 1,100 rushing yards. He's been the best running back in the SEC this season. And with you being able to lean on him to generate offense, it takes some of that pressure off Nico. Carson Beck has to play pretty much a flawless game for Georgia to blow out Tennessee. And with how good the Vols defense is, I trust Tennessee to cover that 10-point spread. They may not win this game, but they definitely are locked to cover. I'm taking Syracuse as an 8.5-point underdog on the road against Cal. This is a game between two teams that are pretty much evenly matched. Cal does have a pretty good defense, but I don't see them being able to slow down Syracuse passing attack. This is one of those games that should be 45-41, 38-34. So if you're somebody who likes betting on overs, probably taking the over in this one is a safe lock as well. This is going to be a game where you're going to see a lot of points being scored and not really a lot of defense. And both of these teams are on the same level. There isn't a gap between either one of these teams. Cal isn't better than Syracuse. Syracuse isn't better than Cal, which is why I'm shocked that this spread is so high. I thought that Syracuse would be a 3-point underdog. You're giving Syracuse 8.5. Yeah, I'm going to take that any day of the week. And Syracuse hasn't really been blown out in that many games. Their biggest loss was to Pitt, and Pitt just had their number in that game. Their defense was doing a lot of things schematically that Kyle McCord didn't know how to handle. But outside of that game, Syracuse has been in the majority of games they played in this year, and they've been a middle-of-the-pack team in the ACC, just like Cal has been a middle-of-the-pack team in the ACC, which is why I think that this game is a sure bet for Syracuse to at least cover that 8.5-point spread. With how evenly matched these two teams are, it should be a close game. I love Nebraska on the road. That's a 9-point dog against USC. USC and Nebraska, they both are in the same situation. They're fighting for bowl eligibility. And Nebraska, they still got a really good defensive line. USC's offensive line has struggled all season long. They recently just made a quarterback change. We don't know how good USC's backup is going to be. And even then, Nebraska has a new offensive coordinator. I've never seen a program just hire an offensive coordinator late in the season, but Nebraska has done it. And Dylan Raiola, although he's been playing some bad football or average football these last couple of weeks, they were in a close game with Ohio State. And against a USC team that right now, they struggled against the run. They've missed tackles. They haven't been fundamentally sound on that side of the football. Nebraska should be able to stay in this game. I don't think there's a gap between either of these two teams. They pretty much are evenly matched. The records indicate that. The performances indicate that. Both these teams have struggled in one-possession games. USC, they might get out to a fast start, but as we've seen when they choked that lead against Penn State. They choked that lead against Michigan when they came back in that game. USC just doesn't know how to finish off games. And that's why I love Nebraska as a 9-point underdog. UNLV, I'm rolling with them as a 21-point favorite against San Diego State. UNLV is the second best G5 team in America behind Boise State. They play great defense. They got outstanding offense. It's called the go-go offense, which is really innovative. And ever since they made the quarterback change to Harsh Malik Williams, this has been the hard offense to stop because of how balanced they are. They can kill you on the ground, or they can beat you throwing the football as well. San Diego State, they got a bad defense. They struggle against the pass. They're not that good against the run. And offensively, they don't turn the football over, but they don't do a good job of moving the football. I expect UNLV to cover this spread by halftime. And lastly, I'm taking Ohio State as a 28.5-point favorite against Northwestern. Ohio State knows that they got a big challenge they got a big challenge next week against Indiana. And I'm pretty sure they want to get Northwestern out the way so they can bench their starters late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter to get them rested for that matchup, which is going to determine if they make it to the Big Ten championship or not. So Northwestern, they rank near the bottom of every category statistically in the Big Ten on offense and defense. There's no way that Ohio State shouldn't cover this. I just don't see how Northwestern can even score 10 points in this game in the first half with how good Ohio State's defense is and how inefficient Northwestern has been offensively this year. So these are my Week 12 college football best bets. Leave your best bets down in the comment section down below. If you roll with these, I only want the credit. I don't want the blame.